degrees. And the idea was to have access to justice so that you guys, everybody can access the law. Previously, during the apartheid era in South Africa, the law was very discriminatory. It was dominated largely by white males to the exclusion of everybody else. And we don't have a problem with white males, but that's just the history of this issue. And of course, it was shortened to enable other people to participate in that pie. Why is it a 4-year bachelor's degree? As a professional degree, to gain access to regulated body, students must gain a solid foundation in core legal principles, engage in critical analysis of complex legal issues, and acquire practical skills necessary for legal practice. It also aligns with international standards for legal education. So when you get this degree, you may actually be able to practice in other countries. The countries that I mentioned, England, Eswatini, Lesotho, Botswana, wherever, subject to you writing the board exams of those particular countries. So why is it popular? It offers a pathway to a prestigious career, versatile and flexible career options. There's a high demand for legal professionals. It's critical in upholding justice and human rights. It offers foundation for further specialization, recognition and mobility, and entrepreneurial opportunities. So you can actually, many of you on this platform probably have businesses. And this can help you run your business. This can help you become a better government official. This can help you become a better actor. We have we have people who are news anchors who are working for big radio stations, which I won't name, who are also our students. So it's a thinking tool, ultimately. Accreditation of a law degree by the Council of Higher Education, is crucial. So the most important thing that you can ever remember is the issue of accreditation. As I have to emphasize, if a qualification is not accredited, do not bother. Just log out, So I just want to emphasize that this is a fully accredited qualification. It guarantees, the CHE accreditation guarantees that the law program meets the highest standards required for legal education in South Africa. Compliance with national standards, accreditation by CHE confirms that the law degree complies with national education standards set by the government and other regulatory bodies. And only law degrees accredited by the CHE are recognized by the professional bodies and the Legal Practice Council. And CHE accreditation is a marker of credibility that can enhance the international recognition of the degree. That's very important. And then, of course, institutional reputation, accreditation by CHE enhances the reputation of the law school offering the degree. It signifies that Regenesis is committed to maintaining high academic and ethical standards, which can attract more students and faculty. Very important, Section 26 of the Legal Practice Act, which is the marker of legal recognition of qualifications. It says a person qualifies to be admitted or enrolled as a practitioner if that person has satisfied all the requirements for the LLB degree obtained at any university registered in the Republic after pursuing for that degree a course of study of not less than 4 years, or a course of study of no less than 5 years if it's preceded by another bachelor's degree. So as I've indicated, we don't offer 2-year LLBs, and we don't profess to that we do. As I indicated, if you can forget anything that I've said today, do make a screenshot of this particular slide, because accreditation is critical. We are fully accredited by the Council on Higher Education, registered as a private higher education by the Department of Higher Education. And the programs are registered on the National Qualifications Framework maintained by the South African Qualifications Authority. And for interest's sake, I was a board member of SAQA from 2011 to 2016. So I know this very well. So if someone wants to lie to you and give you some backstreet advice, please just show them this accreditation information. And the key differences between the Legal Practice Council and Council on Higher Education is that the Council on Higher Education focuses on the quality of education across all higher education institutions, while the Legal Practice Council focuses on regulating the legal profession. So CHE, on the one hand, looks at legal qualifications, credits them, it's more like a license to drive. Legal Practice Council regulates the profession, people who are already qualified as lawyers. And of course, if you steal money from your law firm, if you misbehave as a lawyer, it is the Legal Practice Council that will kick you out. If a qualification is not up to standard, it is the Council on Higher Education that cancels it. Very important. Scope of authority, obviously, the CHE's authority covers the academic side while ensuring that law degrees meet educational standards, whereas the LPC's authority covers the professional side, ensuring that legal practitioners meet professional standards. And of course, accreditation versus regulation, very important. The CHE accredits law programs to ensure they meet educational standards, while the LPC, as I've indicated, ensures that those who are entering the profession are up to standards, up to ethical standards. And then we're almost there. Academic rigor and relevance, LLB program that we have has been deliberately and meticulously crafted, aligning with South Africa's legal ethos and international standards. It's demanding on students, and of course, and your resources, on your time and resources requiring commitment and dedication. Very important. Specialization, the LLB is a generalist degree, provides a broad legal foundation. It's not specialized. LLB does not equate specialization. You learn all the different types of law, as you see from a prospectus. We and our team have a copy of a prospectus, and they'll give that to you at the end of this event. And further training is usually needed. Let's say, for example, you want to be a forensic lawyer. Like you want to look at crime forensics, cause of death. For example, right now in the United States, there's a horrible case of a man who claims that his wife died suddenly without, that she didn't kill her, and then he cut her body up, and then he disposed of the body. He says, no, I didn't kill her, but I just hit it because no one would believe me. So obviously, there are people who specialize in determining cause of death, and of course, with the medical people who deal with that kind of stuff. Usually you get that kind of specialization, you study further, or you get work experience. Likewise, you want to be a corporate lawyer, you want to be the kind of guys who are paid Madlanga commission, you get further specialization. So career development specialization, as I've indicated, occurs through practice of postgraduate education. So it's a foundation for growth. It's a stepping stone, as I've indicated, for a lot of things. The qualifications is a 4-year qualification, 485 credits. Matric with bachelor's pass is the requirement. NQF level 4 equivalent qualification. If English is the first language, you must have had 50%. If English is your second language, 60%. A levels for students, international students from Africa. High level pass for international students. And then, of course, very important, for people who are over 23 years, no bachelor's pass, you must have a school living certificate. And then, of course, also do what I know is known as RPL, recognition of prior learning, for people who I think they're over 40. And I know Winnie has assisted with a lot of those. She knows it back to back, the RPL people. And of course, previous exemptions and credits for previous learning. Now, I'm the academic head of LLP. I usually make the decisions as to whether you can receive exemptions for previous courses. And there's a maximum number of credits that you can be granted, which is 50% of the degree. Currently, it's just about 12 credits. We don't give you more than 12. So some of you have done LLPs, you're almost finished, you don't like the institution that you're coming from, unfortunately, we can only give you 12, up to 12. And of course, they mustn't be older than 5 years. So normally it's 20 and above. So there are some lucky people who, for example, started their entry-level courses before 2020. Sometimes they may be lucky to get if they finish their degree later than 2020, they may be lucky to get exempted. But otherwise, we don't give you exemptions more than that are for things that are more than 5 years old. Contact versus online, you choose whether you want to study contact in Sandton. Physically is popular among the younger students, and online, which is, we use this mode of communication. And of course, usually the working people who have other commitments, young babies, etc., like to do the online mode of study. And of course, the younger students straight from school usually love to do the contact. And of course, we try to ensure that academic readiness, we try and ensure that we produce competent legal professionals, maintain the integrity of the legal profession, and maintain the integrity of the institution. So, but make no mistake about it, this is not fly by night. We are soaring. We've got the best students. We've got people from all professions, in government, in private sector, deputy ministers, whatever you've got, they're there. So please, that's very important that you. And as I said, very important. Another point I have to make is that almost everything that you do in life has legal implications, from before you're born until even after you're dead. Everything that you do, you wake up in your house, you're paying for it, you pay rates, you decide the rules of the road that you drive on, your obligations towards spouse, partner, children, or whatever, your employer, all that is legal. I could just go on and on and on. And of course, many very accomplished people have studied law. Nelson Mandela, Barack Obama, you name it, the President Cyril Ramaphosa, Patrice Motsepe, you name, I can just go on and on. Many very capable women who look at all these wonderful evidence leaders at the various commissions who have done so well. Chief Justice Mandi Samaya, you know, she's a legal graduate. So thanks for your time. Let's go to questions. And of course, I'm sure Winnie has been busy with the chat box. I don't know what's wrong. From my side, I don't see messages in the chat box. I don't know. Was it closed? If not, I think we can take some actual questions. Before people jump off, if they have questions, I know some people heard the presentation. Of course, we try to make it crisp so that people don't get bored. Well, that's generally how I teach. I don't like people to get tired. But let's see if
there's one question on the Q&A. I will read it out for you because I think this one is for you, advocate.
okay,
says, are you aware of the entertainment law field? And if so, how competitive is it?
Technically, I can claim myself to be an entertainment lawyer because I do get, a few people in that industry asking for my advice. I've had in the past my friend Sipo Hostix Mabuse and a few people who have worked with the recording companies, who have had fights with record companies, asking me to intervene. So I do believe certainly that it is very busy in South Africa. Imagine if you are Black Coffee's lawyer. That's entertainment law, right? You won't go hungry, I can assure you. So there's a lot. South Africa's entertainment sector is very busy. a lot of recording contracts, a lot of controversy as well, because there's always fights about whether, you know, artists are sufficiently, you know, compensated, etc. And of course, I've had to deal with many of these disputes before. I've dealt with the matter involving Samro. When I was still deputy private protector, we managed those kind of issues. But even in my own personal capacity as a lawyer, I've had to deal with this, and it's very busy. You know, as you know, the South African entertainment sector is very busy, not just in South Africa but internationally. So people are always wanting advice on things that will make it worthwhile for them. Copyright law you will study in the course of this degree, but that's obviously an entry towards entertainment law. But entertainment law is multifaceted. It includes contract, it includes the constitution, it includes, you know, music people in the industry defaming each other. The list is endless. But yeah, it's a nice field if you're passionate about it.
Okay, thank you, Advocate. There's another one for you. Is conveyancing a notarial public offered at this college, and how much are the fees each year?
The answer is no, because that is what you do after you get your LLB, right? You go for the notary route. That is the law society. When you first, you actually have to be admitted as an attorney, right? And you write your attorney's exam. You get admitted. It's almost like specializing, you know. So you know, like where a doctor first becomes a medical doctor generally, right? And then if they want to become an ear and nose specialist, they write further exams. It's the same thing with conveyancing. You will write exams that are offered by the Law Society of South Africa, but we give you the foundation. You will study law of property, you will study law of contract, you will study all those things that are foundational courses for that career path.
Okay. There's another question from Stanley. He says, if you were starting your career today, what would you do differently?
Oh, that's a very nice one. Eh? Thankfully, you guys are going to do what's known as personal mastery. I'd do a lot of things. I'd make sure that I get out of the youthful foolishness that we all have in our life. I'd be more focused. I would be more diligent. I would be more organized. You know, you learn these things as you go along. And of course, I do more research on the various opportunities available for me. You know, and certainly for you guys, because the market is said to be saturated, I'd work very hard.
Okay. Thank you. There's another one from Anonymous. He says, sorry, if I may ask, can you please ask the advocate what type of lawyer deals with criminal cases only? In brackets, be a lawyer of gangsters.
Interesting. That's very easy in South Africa. If that's your preference, you can easily, you can make a good living actually. As horrible as that sounds, there's so much crime in South Africa that if you choose criminal law as a field, you will get a lot of work, I can assure you. So it's really a choice on your part. Like as I was saying during the presentation, no one forces you in a particular direction. Maybe when you go to a law firm, they would say, do this, they'll give you file X, Y, and Z. But in terms of you deciding that this is what I want to be, that's your personal choice. And some of you will probably set up law firms. But as I said, if you want to be a lawyer dealing with criminal matters in South Africa, that is not going to be very difficult because there's so much work. But you must be prepared to go to jail cells. You must be prepared to deal with horrible stories, horrible information, and that's just the nature of how that is. I mean, you saw last week this witness being killed. You know, so many things like that. It's just horrible. So, but that's criminal law for you.
Okay. There's another one. I think this is for me. I'm 40 years of age, passed my matric in 1995, and I'm interested in doing LLB. So can I qualify for an RPL program? Yes, Mzukisi, if you can submit a document, definitely, I believe you would qualify, either depending on your matric, how you passed your matric. If you pass with an exemption, you can qualify straight without an RPL. However, if you don't have that, then we can do the route of matriculation board, but you will definitely qualify to do an LLB. You can kindly, I will share my email address for you to be able to share your details so that we can be able to direct you to the people that can assist you with the application. Thank you, Mzukisi. And then I will go.
Really, can I just chip in briefly?
Yes, you
say, the 40-year-olds, when they come, they always say they feel they're old. I'm telling you, you are a baby. Our oldest students, they're over 70 years old. We've got students who are above 70. So if you are 40, you are a baby. You don't worry about your age.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Okay, so we have Riabetsi. Riabetsi says, in terms of studying internationally, like countries that don't offer LLB, such as the USA, if I were to ever look for a job in South Africa, will I need to do the full LLB? I hope you understand the question.
I studied in the US for postgraduate studies, so the systems are somewhat different in terms of the core degrees. So if you have a South African LLB degree, you can go and write, for example, the New York Bar exam, but you must pass that exam. And I think California allows you. But if you have an American, known as JD, Doctor of Juridical Science, you will still have to do South African legal qualifications. So you can't just operate on there. So you, in South Africa, simply put, you need an LLB from South Africa, or at least a very similar legal system, which is currently mostly the current countries in the region, mostly your Botswana, Zimbabwe, Lesotho, Eswatini, they all use Roman Dutch. And of course, few people graduate in the UK, but they still have to come and write conversion exams here. So either way, yeah. So either way, if you take this degree and want to work somewhere else as a lawyer, you will have to write exams in that country. That's very important.
Okay. We have another one from Mario. Can you give me credits if I have a diploma in criminal justice from a different institution? And if I've passed all the modules, how many years would it take for me to complete the LLB?
Come again, what have they studied?
They studied a diploma in criminal justice.
Okay, so the credit system is largely based on NQF level, right? So LLB is NQF level 8, if I recall, and diplomas are usually, depending on whether they're postgraduate, undergraduates, they're much lower though. So currently with that one, we are usually giving some entry level exemptions, not a lot. So usually we'll give them maybe computer literacy, pillars of South African law, which is Introduction to Law, and maybe one or two others, depending on, we look at the transcript. So I don't know which university that is. Very popular ones, Diploma in Law from UNISA, there's a paralegal diploma from University of Johannesburg, and one or two others, but I don't know which one this one is. So, but we give you about 4 or 5 or so, even less when you do the higher certificate. And of course, more when you have done an BCom law or some other similar qualification elsewhere. But we can't go beyond a certain number of credits, unfortunately.
Okay. And then we have Lisedi. Thank you. What advice would you give an undergraduate starting next year?
I think that the advice I'd give is just for someone to be, what I said earlier on about just being organized, focus on understanding the administrative requirements of the qualifications, get your books together, get everything in a row, and attend classes, and of course, just be passionate. Do this as something you love. You know, the law in South Africa is very, very interesting. There's all these commissions, so you must keep yourself aware of what's going on around you. Don't be one. You can't be an LLB student who keeps on watching Telemundo 24 hours. You have to ditch Telemundo and Mubango and start looking at commissions and what's going on in the justice system. I'm not saying ditch Netflix, but get into that mindset of saying, I want to know more about this. Or telenovela, is a telenovela.
Okay. Thank you. We have another one from Zain. I've worked as a journalist for over a decade, specializing in court reporting. Now, as a first-year law student at this institution, which is Regenesis, I'm transitioning into the legal profession and want to eventually practice law when I complete my studies. What advice would you give to someone coming from the media industry who is changing careers into law?
Yeah, the irony is I know so many who have done that, at least about 5. So I can, with time, when this individual is around, we can talk about that. But it's very popular, and of course, I think it almost seems like a natural progression from journalism to law. Some move from teaching to law. Some are pharmacists. They've also done, someone is wearing a pharmacist degree and end up being a pharmacist and a lawyer. They do that. People do that. So my advice would be for you to optimize your past experience and squeeze all that journalistic experience to your benefit, because you have contacts, you have those can be your clients, those can be your your sources of information in the legal sector as well. So you don't burn your bridges. That's what I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we have another one from Anonymous. What common misconceptions do people have about the legal practice?
Well, that you have to be dishonest to get ahead. One of the things, it's good you asking that question. One of our emphasis is that we want to produce an ethical group of lawyers. Ethical, honest, and fair to their clients and fair to the community. Because there's this whole thing about lawyers being liars, etc., and so forth. That, you get chucked out of the profession if you're a dishonest lawyer. You steal from people, if you lie, if you whatever. So it's very important that that's a major misconception. Maybe lawyers are creative with the truth, but they're not liars. They find alternate truths.
Okay. And then Stanley is back again. He says, what is your area of and how did you choose your area of specialization?
Well, over the years, currently I'm more in demand for constitutional anti-corruption, forensic type work. But and that found me based on the experience of what I did. But I studied international law. I studied in the US. I studied here. So most of these things sometimes it's opportunities. But I basically would say that I'm still quite flexible when it comes to areas, the things that I have to attend to, because many legal cases and legal issues are cross-disciplinary. So let's say, for example, you're dealing with a family law issue that involves, defamation, that involves a contract between the spouses, that involves a constitutional issue, that involves, sometimes you deal with a mining company that is polluting the area, that's environmental law, and fighting with government. So there's so many things that can come up in one single matter that you all obviously always have to keep your eyes open and be flexible. But yeah, those are my areas of specialization.
Okay. Thank you. We have Floyd. Floyd, he says that I am currently 44 years old and I have been in IT and petrochemical industry. What specialty do you think I can pursue?
You can do energy law. Energy law is very big. Recently, I was asked to get involved in some coal thing, and I was, swimming, looking in the dark. I had to find some light. So there's a lot of contracts of that nature. Energy is a critical issue. People are signing all these providers. You can get into procurement. You can get into, as I said, you can optimize what you already have in terms of your sector so that you don't struggle to find clients, etc. So, but energy is critical. We have to keep the lights on. We have to do gas and fuel, etc. So it's a natural progression.
Okay, thank you. And then we have another one who's asking, anonymous, how much do corporate lawyers earn per month on average, rough estimation?
Okay, there's a thing that we wrote that we put together. Maybe if you can find it, I can also find it, we'll put it in the chat. I did how much do lawyers earn in South Africa? And it's used by almost everyone right now. People are looking, when they're looking for that information, they use that. So, but those numbers that are there are for people who are hard workers. Obviously, an entry level. So if you go to an entry level person who's working in their kitchen, don't expect that kind of pay initially. It will grow over time. And of course, because there's talk about law being saturated, you guys have to work extra hard. It's not saturated, but you have to make your money. So that there is, I'm not going to throw numbers around because I wrote a piece on that. It's there. Yeah. It's on. I don't know if you found it. It's easy to find. It's under Regenesis, actually.
I will search in the meantime.
Yeah, so you can just pop it in the chat. It's very easy to find. I wrote it, and of course, it's been used quite a lot.
Okay. What I'm searching for, Ed, I will drop it on the chat.
Yes.
Gertrude is saying, can you have more than one specialty with LLB degree, or must it be only one?
LLB is a very generalist degree, and as I've indicated, it teaches you all the different laws. You learn you'll get the prospectus. Maybe we probably don't have time to to go through all the entire courses in the prospectus. You learn all the different laws in South Africa, what's going on. And then you will then decide what you're passionate about. But then there are also what are known as general practices. Just like there's a GP. You know, a GP, when you've got a headache, you go to the GP. When you've got a heart issue, you go to the GP. And then they say, let me see. First few whatevers when GPs can manage pregnancies most of the time. But when things get more specialized, they send you somewhere else, right? So there are lawyers who, especially in smaller communities, who just handle a bit of everything. So it is possible to with that lawyer who handles divorces, who handles contracts, who handles crime issues, especially in the smaller firms, smaller communities.
Okay. Then we have Nhlakanipo. He says, back to entertainment law. Is it possible for one to work abroad? And where do you recommend I network with other entertainment lawyers? Sorry.
Thankfully, that's where things like AI and internet and all the wonderful resources, LinkedIn and others, have a lot of things. But I do recommend that if you can study abroad, like some of us did afterwards, after doing LLM, PhD maybe abroad, if you can, that would be great. Then you can. But then, of course, there are all these companies as well that operating in South Africa. There's Galo, there's all these Sony and everything. I had to deal with a matter involving staff members from that particular entity who had so I've actually been asked by Sony. Was it Sony? Yeah, this is Sony for some legal. Yeah, not too far in Hyde Park. Yeah, so they also have a presence in South Africa. You can also be advising them. As you saw right now, there's a big issue about channels leaving South Africa. DSTV putting out. That's entertainment law. You see, you could find a way of resolving that legally, either by crafting a new contract. I suspect a new contract will be drafted between Warner and DSTV and MultiChoice. That is entertainment law. So it's practical stuff. You're not just talking about Amapiano. You're talking about things that matter in every life that you can imagine. It's out there. So I do recommend. That's a nice sector. Yeah, it's a very nice sector if you're passionate about
it. Okay. Another one says, how long after graduation does it take for one to be eligible to practice?
Basically 1 or 2 years. 1 or 2 years. 1 year for advocate, 2 years for an attorney. And then you get admitted at the High Court.
Okay, last one. Anonymous says, someone once said, if you want to go to heaven, don't be a lawyer. I know we have a pastor in one of our groups. The question is this, what's your take on that?
If you want to go to heaven, or if you don't, what is it saying?
If you want to go to heaven, don't be a lawyer.
Now, I can assure you, if you become a lawyer, you are guaranteed that you're going to go to heaven. If you're a good lawyer, because you will know all the contracts, you will know all the biblical contracts, you will know all the tricks of the trade. Trust me. and we are emphasizing honest and ethical lawyers.
Yeah. Okay, so there's another one. It's a bit long. I'll try and break it down. As a matric student going to university next year, by the grace of God in brackets, I applied for BA law as well as LLB in a situation that I'm accepted for both. Would one advise that I just shoot straight for LLB degree, or can I do 3 years in BA and complete my LLB in the following 2 years? If it is that LLB is the entry level to practice law, why do institutions still allow the study of BA or BCom law?
The main reason for BA and BCom law is diversification of expertise. So, for example, you do BCom law, you do more commercial courses. It's very popular among people who want to be corporate lawyers, commercial lawyers, etc. Some people want to study philosophy, they want to learn other things. So I have a BA law, for example, and an LLB. So and we did deviance and crime, we did all these other things that we would not normally do in an NLP. Some people do psychology. So if you've got time and money on your hands, by all means, go for the BA law route. But if you want to go straight to legal practice, go to LLB straight. You will learn more with 2 degrees, of course. That's a fact.
Yeah. Okay, this is the last one. I think we're running out of time. Does Rich Genesis assist in advertising you or build a reputation for you?
Oh, it's funny enough, I've been getting that question a lot recently. We give you a solid foundation in terms of legal training. Of course, we'll have career days, especially for the people at the tail end of their studies. We'll have people from the profession coming through, talking to you. But ultimately, you are your own advertisement. You are your academic record should speak for you. Your transcript should speak for itself. Your passion should speak for itself. So we will obviously write testimonials, references for you, etc. But ultimately, the ball is in your court. That's just the reality. If you pass everything with 50%, unless your father is you're a trust fund baby, maybe. But if you are passing with 50% everything, don't expect the big and mighty firms to rush for you. So you've got to work hard and get good marks.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Advocate, for the insightful session and taking on the questions live. I think that's it.
Yes, I don't know if you've got a copy of prospectus. Anyone, you can give it to them. And of course, the slides, I can also share them at the end of the session.
Yes, we'll definitely share the prospectus.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We managed to do everything under an hour. Thank you for keeping everything short and sweet. Thank you so much. Thank you to the attendees.
No, thanks a lot. It was quite a sizable. We were almost 60 at the beginning. And of course, I think that's quite a good number.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks
a lot. Thanks. Cheers.
Bye.